afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Bonnie Booley. It's a new week in the Loft. It's also a couple of days before Christmas. So I know most of you are busy with your last-minute shopping and last-minute preparations for the big day. But today in the Loft, we'll be discussing an issue that a lot of parents face, especially over the holidays, and that's single parenting, and as in my case, co-parenting. So we're joined by actress Dorette Potgieter, who talks to us about how she juggles her career and co-parenting, as well as a set of co-parents who'll be telling us how they make it all work. We also share some great DIY gift ideas, and we let you know what you can do that's fun with your kids over the holidays. Over to the kitchen where Danilo has some gift ideas of his own.
Hello, Bon, and hello to you, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm very excited today because we're speaking about parenting, and one thing as a parent that I think I panic about most is how I'm going to make sure that my kids eat well and they enjoy their meals at night. I want to be one of those dads who cooks in the kitchen that day that the kids come home and like, Daddy, make me nice food. So today, what are we making? What can I teach my children?
This one's going to be a good one for kids because they can get involved in the topping and making the pastry. It's fun. So think berries, beautiful mulled spices and buttery pastry. So we're making a mulled berry snowflake tart.
I'm not going to remember that. You have to remind me every single time we get back into this kitchen. You can download the recipe and the shopping list from our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. It's a great one for the festive season. It's one that you want to get the kids busy in that kitchen. It's a really unifying and bonding experience for the entire family. That's what we're making in the kitchen. Bonnie's making magic on the couch, though.
She's a renowned South African actress who's graced our screen for many years, and she's also a co-parent to her beautiful little girl, Leah. Here to chat about the challenges of co-parenthood and how she and Leah's father managed to create a happy, healthy situation for their daughter is Dorette Potgieter. Welcome, Dorette.
Thank you.
So before we started, I was racking my brain trying to figure out where I know Dorette from, right? So a couple of years ago, you and I were on a cover. 97. We were on the cover of a magazine called Directions Magazine, and we were in our underwear. We were like the local it girls.
We were hot, my love.
It's so great to see you again.
You too. Thank you.
So when yourself and Leah's dad decided to split, what were some of your concerns about how it was going to affect Leah having a relationship with both of you?
I realized very early in my pregnancy that it wasn't going to work out. And I stood in front of this huge, it seemed like an ocean of thoughts of how would I actually, I haven't even met this beautiful being, and I already knew that her life was going to be filled with challenges. Sure. The first one is I realized that no matter what I do, I must make certain that there's this beautiful bond between my daughter and her father.
Yes.
Because there will come a time that she's going to need him. And I stayed on in this relationship for as long as I could. And she was 1 year and 3 months old, and we left. And I left with my heart knowing that there's this beautiful bond between the two of them.
Wow.
And no matter where in the world we are or her dad, he will always be her father.
Yes.
And that relationship has blossomed. And even our relationship has changed. It's a lot easier. He got remarried in the interim. Leah's stepmom is lovely. And it's very hard not to love her. So
there's nothing like an awful stepmom. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no, thank goodness she's not a Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
She's a lovely, beautiful. She's also a mum of 2 children who are grown. They're in their 20s. And I think it's almost like a second chance in all of our lives to just celebrate love and to make sure that the focus lies within the children's happiness.
And in terms of time, how do you work out the visitation system between
In the beginning, it was very hard. We left Johannesburg, we came to Cape Town. He was still in Johannesburg. He made his way down here. His family also relocated to Cape Town. So for the first 4 years, it was really hard. I remember like 6, 7 months of not seeing him. She would just one day wake up and say, Mommy, I need to see Daddy right away.
Oh.
And we would get in my car, and whether it is in Dorest while he was shooting a movie or wherever he is, we will always make sure we get there.
That's awesome.
So that she can have those 2-3 days of bliss and, get what she needs so that we can then move on. I don't think that Leah has this huge void or emptiness that needs to be filled because her father is not present. I think her father is present in other ways. And I'm glad in a way that we left one another's paths at such a young age for Leah, because that void, that emptiness is not there.
It'll be tougher later as well.
Yeah, but like I said, I think she teaches us a lot of things as well, and as long as we put her needs first, we'll be fine. Yeah.
I mean, being a parent myself, I know parenting is not easy, and when you're doing it alone, it seems like a mammoth task. How do you balance your energy, your time, and making sure that when you are with your child, you're present, but you're doing everything else you're needing to take care of?
I think the most important thing is to never be the victim. Mm-hmm. The minute you're the victim, everything just snowballs down.
Wow.
And that was a very hard lesson for myself. Never to fall back on, I am the victim, blah,
Poor
blah,
me.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Time-wise, I still learn.
It's a juggling act, hey?
It is literally keeping a few balls in the air at the same time, not allowing your ego to get the better of you, not allowing to be the victim. Just listen to your daughter's needs. Make sure that you have the structures in place like school, or there is a nanny, or I didn't have a nanny, but luckily my friends doubled up with their nannies. There's always some support. My parents, her grandparents on the other side.
Yeah.
Like I said, just... rather don't go into anything that's negative, and immediately everything else that's positive, you'll find the time. You'll see that there's time to do everything. As long as you don't go emotionally into a negative space, you'll be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So anyone watching at home who's like maybe freshly split and it just seems impossible to take care of their child and still maintain a great relationship with the other parent as well, how important is it to keep an amicable relationship between yourself and the other parent?
I find it's very important. It was very hard for me because every time that we were in conflict in front of her, Leah would take it upon herself and it would become part of her self-esteem and it would down her.
Oh, wow.
Immediately it would down her. And I remember when I was a little girl, whenever my parents had a feud or there was conflict and it wasn't resolved in front of me, I would take it upon myself the responsibility to fix it.
Yes.
And the thing is, we need to teach our children...
And to be the peacemaker.
We need to teach our children that they are not the cause for the conflict. But that we as adults, and the children must remind us when they can. I mean, now she's 6 and she reminds me every day. She was too young before. To remind us why she's there, because she represents love. So we did have a beautiful connection. We did have love. She doesn't come from anything but that. And that is innocent and pure. So the moment there is conflict or the moment myself and her father don't get along, be adults about it. Make an appointment. See one another under a tree where she's not near. Don't expose her to that. It's so unnecessary because immediately that child thinks, I'm the reason why mommy and daddy are not happy. And then they become unhappy. And I think that just ripples down. And like I said earlier, just rather choose a positive thing, rather do the up spiral and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I know, I co-parent and I know many people who do it. And sometimes when the other partner's not there, parents can lax and let the child almost parent them. And so the parent is seeing the child is seeing the parent play the victim and woe is me. And they take it upon themselves to just nurture the parent, which isn't fair.
No, we must remember that they are still children.
Yeah.
And what do children do? They play.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone through beautiful structures where we had her at a child psychologist, and this child psychologist says to me, Dorette, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your child. She's wonderful. If you think there's an issue, go and look at yourself.
Wow.
Go and look at yourself and find whatever is the issue within yourself. I'm also an Imago facilitator in the interim, and it's very interesting how this theory, this theory has helped me to listen. The minute you allow someone, whatever they want to say, the minute you listen to them and you just verbatimly repeat what they have said, something in your brain triggers. And I think a lot of things that go wrong with relationships is we don't listen to one another's needs. Because you're so involved in your own needs and you're so involved, I'm the victim, I'm being bullied, why is this happening to me? Nonsense.
Wow.
Rather go and look yourself in the mirror and say, why am I experiencing it in such a negative way?
Wow.
Can't I just be quiet in the moment and rather listen to my partner or ex-partner or my child or whoever you're in a relationship with? let me rather listen to them.
Yes.
And rather be a pillar and rather being of something of substance for them and support for them. And the minute you go there, jeeper creeper, it's this fountain, life becomes wonderful because all of a sudden you are also being appreciated.
Yes.
Because you shut your trap and you just listen to someone else's needs.
That is so wise. Thank you so much, Dorette. Lovely to see you still got that underwear cover body.
Oh, I'm just hiding really well.
After the break, we chat to real-life single parent and co-parents about how they cope during the holidays. And in the kitchen, we're making a mulberry snowflake tart.
Give kids the gift of hearing this Christmas. Are you with us?
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, it is the festive season. One of the favorite things that families do over this period of time is get cooking in that kitchen. And the kids can really get involved in our recipe today. We're making a mulberry tart. Now, I'm going to pretend like I know what that is, Claire, and just get started with this thing. I don't even know what mulberries are.
Well, mulled, as in the spices you would use in a mulling, say, of a drink. So you would typically have a mulled drink in like colder climates over the Christmas season.
Okay.
So cinnamon, cloves, all that sort of
All
stuff.
those
So
warm flavours.
That's going in our berry mix, which is later. That's the filling of our tart. We're going to focus just on the pastry here.
Okay.
So the tart base and the tart topping. It's going to be delicious. It's buttery, it's yummy, and it's quite simple. It's really not a
difficult
one to do. So first things first, food processor makes your life easy when it comes to making pastry.
Claire loves her food processor. It's one of her favourite tools in the kitchen.
Let's get all of this out here. I'm just going to use my
I've honestly, to be honest, never seen dough or any kind of batter or things made in a food processor. It's got blades in it. I would have thought you would have used a mixer.
No, because if you're using a mixer, it's just going to end up creaming it.
Yes.
You're not actually going to sort of cut the butter into it. So a little bit of salt in there, sugar. That's going to come last. I'm just going to quickly whiz this up just to
mix it up a bit.
And then in goes
That seemed like a waste of time, but okay.
No, just do sort of mix it all together and let's get the butter in there.
Okay, and I'm guessing all of these quantities and stuff on the website.
Yes, indeed. So now, same like I was describing earlier, that like fine breadcrumb, that's what we're looking for here. You're going to see it slowly sort of, the butter mixes into the flour and it comes together in that
Little
breadcrumb.
clumpiness, so it's okay for it to be a little bit more clumpy. You expect it, I think, when you're making doughs and stuff, to make sure that it's a smooth
No, we're going to
texture.
get there. Just give it one more whiz
up.
and then just to kind of bring it all together, some nice cold water.
Okay.
Everything here when it comes to pastry making is cold. Cold.
And you also leave your pastry in the fridge for a while, I know that. if you're
Because
buying
otherwise,
pastry.
otherwise if you're using hot water, if you're using hot butter, room temperature butter, it melts. It melts, it gets, you can't use it,
Oily,
it's not pliable.
floppy.
It's actually, sorry, it's too pliable, I'm going to say. So then that's going to start coming together.
You're turning it off to turn it on.
Yeah, that comes together nice. You can see
There, I
it
see now it's starting to crumble almost.
comes together.
Yes.
And then, let's take this off so we can
Show
see.
everyone what it looks like, yeah.
Comes together like that, and then you can start forming a
Little
ball.
balls.
And that's it. That's all you're looking for, is
Okay.
that.
The texture of itself feels like it's almost dried. You can feel that butter's inside there, which is cool. So you almost form that into a ball. Is that what we've kind of got here?
So that's what we got there. This now goes into some plastic, into the fridge, rest for 15 minutes. It's very important to rest dough. That's, you're going to follow these steps and you're going to have a successful pastry, I promise.
Why resting dough?
To just allow the butter to sort of firm up again, so it's easy to use. And not too easy to use that it starts melting out and the butter starts pushing through the flour.
Oozing.
So that looks great. Let's get a little bit of extra flour on the surface there.
I'll show you the
Just-
trick that I learned while I was making pizza or something. Isn't it? La, 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 la.
No. Like this. Throw it with some flair and stuff.
Rocking.
Except
Cool.
that I've got it all over the sugar.
Oh, well, and we promised everybody on the floor early on that we weren't going to make any mess with the flour. We clearly just broke that rule right now. Oh, I can feel that this is really a lot firmer than that dough from there.
So you're going to roll it out. You don't want to work it too much.
All of it, or just that?
No, we're just going to show a little bit. So get flour on there, nice, and it's also fine. It's a good thing to flour your rolling pin because then it doesn't end up sticking. So just roll it out till about 1 centimeter thickness.
Is that about right?
And if you have like a cool snowflake cutter or Christmas tree cutter, something festive, it's going to be fabulous for on top. So we've just used stars, but whatever you have will be great. So cut
that's
that
not
out.
very straight, but I know that's
that's
okay.
good. And then that again, that gets rested.
Okay.
This is the excess pastry that we've got here. The original pastry that we used, the big massive pastry, is what we made our tart base out of. So we lined the tart base, rested that. pop some foil in, some baking paper, some rice, some beans, and blind bake it for 15 minutes.
Blind baking? Sorry, again, you've told me this before, but I forgot.
With the rice and the beans. So it's a weight. It's a weight on top of the pastry.
So it
Take
doesn't
that
puff.
off after 15 minutes, and then 5 more minutes in the oven. Take it out, cool it, and that's what we've got here. Then the leftovers is what we're doing here.
And is this going to just go on top of all those berries, just on top of it, like make a layer on
Berries
top?
are going to go on top of here, and this goes on top of that. But we're not finished with this yet. So this then rests a little bit, and we just top it with a little bit of sugar. So it gives you that like snowflakey kind of look about it.
It's almost like making a bit of a shortbread, kind of, but with puff pastry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, short crust pastry, that's what we're doing here. Do you want to help me out
She
here?
always has the technical terms. Oh, I could help. Maybe that's useful. Like I was just talking about being a parenting and stuff, and I'm a terrible like helper in the kitchen here.
I'm like, it's great for the kids to help. Kids, help. So this is going to go into the oven at 180 degrees till it's nice and golden, and that sugar kind of, like I said, looks like snow, crystallizes a little bit, and it's beautiful. So that's our pastry sorted, that's our topping sorted, and then we're going to do the filling.
Later on. So if you guys want to get this recipe, by the way, you can kind of find it on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. We'll show you how to make the pastry, all the quantities, the shopping list, etc. is all available for you over there. And like we said, it's a great one to do with the kids if you are at home. So we'll finish the filling later on in the show. Right now, though, Bonnie is standing by on the couch.
The festive season for single or divorced parents can be an anxious time. While for most people, it offers relaxation and sometimes reprieve from their daily grind, but being a single parent over the holidays can be a time filled with conflicts, financial worries, and custody concerns. It doesn't have to be like that, though. With a bit of forward planning and the right attitude, the festive season can prove to be a joyous time out and a chance to reconnect with your children and their lives. We're joined now by single parent Roxy and co-parents Heidi and Eric. Welcome.
Thank you.
Roxanne, you're a single parent. Tell us about your journey to that point and how you juggle it.
Well, it's been 6 years now since I've been a single parent. My baby was 4 months old when my ex-husband and I split. And it's been a rough journey, hey, to raise 2 boys for, well, basically 6 years on your own, and not have any support from his side at all.
At all?
At all, at all. So it's myself and my parents, basically, that's raising the boys. We had our challenges in terms of kids going through emotions and how they feel, you know, towards the other parent, towards you. And it's just been one hectic ride.
And how did you reconcile or make peace with the fact that he's absolutely not involved? And I mean, I take that to also mean he's not involved financially.
That's correct, yes.
How do you forgive and move on? And also, like Dorette said earlier, not play the victim.
Yes. Yeah, I realized, well, you know, for me to move on and for me to actually be there for my kids and actually face challenges, I need to accept what has happened. And for me, accepting and being able to forgive, I think, as Dorette said, you know, everything just spirals from there, you know, just takes it to the top completely.
You're also a working mom. So how do you juggle your time? When do you actually get time to be with them? And when you are with them, what kind of stuff do you do that ensures that you're actually connecting?
Okay, so I'm working currently, yes, and my father is actually looking after the kids now. My granny used to look after them up until March of this year, and she suddenly passed away. And there was lots of challenges trying to get the new normal back together again.
Yes.
And my dad, being the guy that he stepped in and took on that role, and he's doing his poor daycare now, you know. So he's seeing to them during the time now that they're at home. And then I'll finish off at work on the 24th.
Wow.
And then I'll be with them when they go back to school again.
Well, that's incredible that they have such a supportive grandparent.
Yes, they do.
So you guys have been divorced now for 16 years, right?
Just about.
Just about.
Yeah.
And you've always just had this amicable relationship and you've been able to co-parent. How did you get to that place? Or was it through trial and error?
Well, you get divorced for a reason, so it's not amicable immediately.
Immediately, right.
Yeah, because there are reasons. But you get over it very quickly because the children are your main concern. And that is a no-brainer. When people say they have to be, it really is step one that everybody should be taking. If you can't put your children first, you don't have a hope of getting through this thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But it did. We were friends before, so it was going to get back to friends anyway. Yeah.
And Eric, how do you guys juggle the visitation, setting up routines and systems that actually work?
I think we're very fortunate in that we were always able and flexible that once we've set a routine and there's a change, somehow for 16 years, if Heidi said, listen, I've got to go that weekend there, it was no problem, it was not an issue. Because it wasn't about my anger towards her, it was, okay, what do the kids need and how are we going to do this?
You're angry at me?
Sometimes a little bit. Just a little bit. Sometimes. Not really, no. So I think it could be a big deal if people are, and I think that's the bottom line for me, is, you know, can you put it down and move on? Or are you stuck in the anger that created that in the first place? Or can you rationalize the fact that you're dealing with children here that
need both of you.
Absolutely.
To just adult.
So I think maybe we're just lucky that the scheduling worked out extremely well over 16 years.
We dovetailed very well because human beings by their nature will huck out at times, and then whenever I lost the reins, he picked it up. When he did, I did. So I don't think we even did that consciously. It's just when the focus on the children, that's what you do.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you work out disagreements like because there's different rules in different households and, you know, the kids eat differently when they go to dad's or when they go to mom's or they get to sleep later at dad's or how did you iron out those little
Well, it was easy
kinks?
because if you ask the two boys, they'll both say, well, dad cooks a lot better than mom. So the takeaways and the eggy on toast will be at mom's place.
Oh, because usually it's the other way around.
No.
No, not in this case.
No, I'm not a great cook, but I'm very healthy. But but they do prefer his food. Yes.
And in the holidays, where do they spend time? Who do they spend time with?
They're old now, so they travel very easily.
Yes.
Yeah, they go wherever they want to now.
Yeah.
But previously we had set times, like the holidays he would have them, and I would have my 2-week break. But he was very good. I've always said, if you want to get divorced to somebody, you need to get divorced to him because he was a very good divorcee, really. Best divorce
That's
parent.
awful, but I hear what you're saying.
Because if you have stability, you don't have to worry about maintenance, you don't have to worry about visitations and stuff. It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people at home who are watching and they're really struggling to find peace in this co-parenting space?
I don't have advice. Do you?
I think at the core of it is they got to go and find out, because there's an anger inside them that they have to deal with. And if they've discovered the self and made peace with that, and then rationalize stuff rather than getting into these emotional tizzes, I think it'll make it easy. I don't think it's going to be easy. It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
But if you need to breathe deep and go and look for the stuff inside you, because that's where the answers lie, instead of the victim state with the other parent. With the victim state of the other parent.
But I must say, Roxy, I don't know how Roxy does it. I mean, when we were chatting earlier, I don't know how she has done this on her own. It's rough.
Wow.
And honestly, I take my hat. If any medals are to be awarded, then she needs.
Yes. And I mean, what do you do in those times where you're absolutely exhausted and you just need time out, or you need to be pampered, or you just need a massage, or you just need an adult to speak to?
Yeah, fortunately, I've got great friends. So they always have a listening ear to whenever I need to speak to them. If I need time out, they'll either ask me, can I take the children, or do you want to come over to my place? Or we'll go out and have coffee. So yes, you need to take time out for yourself. But it's sometimes very difficult because you don't always have that babysitter to look after the kids. So you really need to just get them to do something, maybe the kids to do something, even if it's just build a puzzle and you just take a time out to have a glass of wine maybe and read a book. But you have to take time out for yourself.
Thank you all very much. You're all my heroes.
Thank you.
But you're also a single mom.
Yes, I also co-parent, and I know exactly all these challenges they were dealing with, except I'm the better cook. Okay. I hope you didn't hear that. After the break, we're joined by psychologist Jeannie Rose to discuss single and co-parenting from a psychological perspective. We'll be right back.
Five Roses blends only the top 2 leaves of the finest Ceylon teas. Because nobody makes better tea than you and 5 Roses.
Dry, itchy and atopic skin? Try Dermalex Eczema for adults.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, earlier on, we chatted to our real-life parents about how they juggle their busy lives and manage to find time for their children. We're now joined by psychologist Jeannie Rose to look deeper at the struggles faced by single and co-parents. Welcome to the Loft, Jeannie. Lovely to have you here.
Thanks, Bonnie.
So I think, firstly, we need to understand that there is a difference between single parenting and co-parenting. What are the differences?
Absolutely. Basically, co-parenting is when two people that were in a intimate relationship have now parted ways or separated or divorced, but are both still involved in parenting the child. Single parents are parents who are parenting on their own as a result of a death of a spouse or perhaps even an absence of the other parent. Then that's when you classify them as a single parent.
Would you judge either situation as preferable for the children or the parents?
You know, I think it's so difficult to say yes or no. I think both of them have their complexities, and at times it might be easier to say, oh, I wish I was rather a co-parent than a single parent, and vice versa. I do think one of the big benefits of co-parenting is that even though it can be quite difficult at times, there is another person to incorporate a new perspective, somewhat supportive environment, just someone to bounce different ideas off and to just introduce something a little bit fresh maybe than one tends to think of and just down the same road. However, as a single parent, it also becomes tough because you are continuously on your own.
Yeah.
And it's a great deal of responsibility that you have to take on when you are the sole person responsible for big decisions. And I think can be really overwhelming for a lot of parents because so much of it rests entirely in your hands.
Yeah. What are the long-term psychological effects on a single parent? I mean, this is going to sound harsh, but is there more wear and tear?
Well, I think the key thing is around the context for that parent and that individual. I think if you can put yourself in a situation where you are supported, where you've got good communication with others, then you are probably less prone to the physiological and the psychological effects. But I think parenting in general, as most parents will tell you, is a pretty exhausting thing. As much as it's rewarding and joyful, it's really taxing on an individual. And I think even more so when you are put in a situation that you are parenting as a single unit or co-parenting as well.
Yeah. I mean, what are some of the demands that single parents and co-parents face?
Well, I think not only are they facing the demands of everyday parenting that most parents face, but on top of it, they're trying to juggle dealing with an atypical situation, because we kind of think of raising kids as two parents, you know, the kids, the boy, the girl, the dog. We kind of imagine that is the stereotypical home environment, which there's a huge shift from. We also need to realize that isn't the norm, that the kids in our schools are not being raised like that. They are from broken homes, they are from abusive homes, they are from single-parent homes, co-parenting homes. We've got such a dynamic diversity of children that we are raising in our communities. But at the same time, there's, you know, a lot of complexities that then come with that hand in hand.
In a situation where children have a two-home dynamic, what are some of the negatives, or rather the pros and cons of that situation, and how can children be protected from the negatives of it?
The big trap is that we fall into permissive parenting, where we allow them to get away with things that we wouldn't usually allow them to get away with. And the second trap is that we feel like we can't just be good old, boring, ordinary parents, as we should be. We think we need to have this element of fun, that when you come to my house, it has to be amazing and exciting and fun, and it's all about adventure and, you know, treats and all these wonderful things. But we're not exposing our kids to what life should look like. And I think, you know, the other thing that we're doing, you know, it's definitely not all doom and gloom. We can't say that this is not an ideal situation, because the reality is so many kids are raised in homes like this. So it's important to also say, well, we're teaching them about conflict resolution. We can use our behavior and the way we interact with our partner or spouse as a way to show them how to handle difficult situations. And you are showing them not only through teaching how we would usually teach kids, but actually through your actions by saying, this is how you can resolve problems in an adequate and appropriate way.
Yeah, and also sending a message to the children saying that just because two people don't agree doesn't mean they don't have to get along.
Exactly, 100%. And I think one of the key things around that is showing that you can be united as a parenting front, that you can agree on the same consistent, predictable, structured environment, the same routines that can be applied in two different households, even though it might be implemented a little bit differently. At the core, you are essentially still one united front. And the research certainly says that that is when there are better outcomes. When kids go from one extreme to the other, one home they know if they do X, the outcome is Y, where in another home they sort of permitted to do whatever they might do. That really is difficult for a kid to try and understand, because there's different boundaries, there's different structures involved, and they can't then understand why in one context some behavior is allowed and in another it's not.
Right. I mean, do you think in general, society is adopting a more open-minded approach to family? I mean, there's something we now call the modern family, which is so unlike families throughout history.
Absolutely. I think we are really forward in that we are starting to realize that. And in South Africa especially, we've got so many diverse cultures and religions. We've got heterosexuality, homosexuality, single parents. So there is such a great, large, diverse group of people that we definitely are shifting. And it's wonderful that we can be so forward-thinking and so open.
Would you say that there's a big difference between children who come from co-parented or single-parented homes versus children who come from two-parent homes who live in the same house?
Yeah. We can't sit here today and argue that one is better than the other. I think it's all about providing our kids with a safe, secure environment where they are loved, where they're respected, where they are treated in a way that we would want them to treat others, with guidelines and with discipline and with boundaries and all the things that go hand in hand.
Love.
Exactly. And at the core of it is love, unconditional love. And if we can raise them like that, does it matter if there are 7 boys or 3 girls or 2 moms or only 1 mom? You know, that at the end of the day is immaterial.
Thank you so much. It was
Thanks,
a
Bonnie.
very interesting conversation.
Thanks for having me, Bonnie.
Now, after the break, we share some great last-minute DIY gift ideas, and in the kitchen, we finish off that festive mulberry snowflake tart.
Express yourself.
Fresh Pack. Goodness comes naturally.
Welcome back to the Loft and Afternoon Express on SABC3. Christmas time can be incredibly expensive. Food, decor, that special Christmas outfit, and especially gifts. Today we're joined by a decor specialist and owner of Absolute Collection, Carla Utler, to show us some nifty ways in which we can use everyday objects to create amazing, affordable gifts for the whole family. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Lovely to have you in the Loft.
Thanks. Awesome.
Awesome. So I'm definitely wanting to save money this festive season. So I'm excited to see what ideas you have for us. First up, you have a gift for Dad to show us.
For Mom.
For
actually.
Mom,
Yeah.
okay.
We just took some towels laying around at home. Obviously, the whole purpose behind our gifting here today is things that you really don't use, to reinvent them and use them as gifts and not spend a fortune on shopping and buying. And everybody actually wants to avoid the malls at the moment because it's chaos.
Right.
So we started off just for Mom, some nice coasters. She loves just entertaining people. Just with a little bit of glam, we took some tiles, just with the gold spray. You can just take your masking tape and you can actually do any pattern. We've got 3 different patterns on that side. And just normal a gold card, just to write something, just a special note to Mom.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she's going to love it. And it will definitely impress the guests.
That's a great idea.
Then from little brother to Mom, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we've given her a week voucher for doing dishes. So you can
that
actually...
is superb.
Yeah, I think she's going to love it. So,
oh, my goodness.
You can actually just go into your mom's, like...
kitchen cupboard,
cupboard, and grab anything that you can find, because obviously you don't want to spend your
dishwasher, all of that stuff.
your pocket money, and then you can just write your own voucher and just zhuzh it up a little bit with a little bit of
Mom,
tissue
I'm going to
paper.
be washing dishes for a week.
Yeah, it's
so cute.
Yeah, it's something sweet from the
I'm
boys.
going to plant those ideas in my boys' heads.
It's going to save you a little bit of work at home. And then for Dad, we've got something a little bit more. Men are always difficult to buy gifts for. It's even if you go into to a shop, feels like you're always giving them the same items over
Yeah,
and over again.
yeah.
So what we've done is we took some old frames laying around in the garage and we just transformed them to something different. Obviously for males, we are not going to do a little bit of bling. We rather go with the more matte color like your
Yes,
greys and
monochrome,
charcoals.
yeah.
And we reused an old gift bag, which we just framed and made this charcoal. This is actually just the
this
old
is the
leather
gift
belt.
bag.
Yeah, and then you can actually cut this out for us, and then we can use
great
it
idea.
as a Christmas card, and they can actually, the kids can write at the back and just attach it to the gift. And then we just gave him a few treats. There's like an old container that we used a little bit of nuts. We're giving him, every guy loves Droevorst and biltong. So
Of course,
obviously
of course.
that needs to be in there. And this is just the old fruit basket that we transformed, gave it a little bit of a rose gold color, just to make it a little bit more earthy and...
Did you
tone
spray
in.
that?
Yeah, we sprayed that.
Okay.
And then just to tie it all together, I used the old belt that was laying around. I'm not sure if it picked up weight or what went wrong. But that's just the idea, to actually keep it all together.
That is such a cool gift. He can even take it to the office and keep it on his desk.
Exactly, but the presentation is nice as well. Moving over to the teenagers, which are obviously the more difficult.
Even more difficult, yeah.
Than anyone else. We decided to rather stick with something, depending on the personality as well. We've got two options, something a little bit more earthy. For instance, a person that would love doing gardening, just use a succulent and a nice frame with a nice quote maybe for a room. And then for the more vibrant personality, we've got the bright pinks with the shades, and then obviously the first letter of her name. This was just laying around in the storeroom as well. And then this, you can actually just put your double-sided tape, and we also sprayed the bottom in gold just to
see that.
make it quite unique. And then they each have their own...
Is that same gold metallic spray?
Yeah, the same one over here. So they each have their own identity and personality. So obviously when having a coffee or a hot chocolate, then they know exactly whose cup is
Whose
who.
cup is whose? Yeah, that's
And
so
there's no
much fun.
fights. And
I
then-
love that quote, by the way.
Yeah, be a girl with a mind, a woman with attitude, and a lady
with class. Okay. And for the boys?
For the boys, we have something a little bit more practical, because obviously we want to keep them busy, because when they get quiet, we know
something's up.
Something is, yeah. So just to keep them busy, what we've done is you can just pick up a few of the pebbles or stones, what you can find around the house, and then you can just mark them, chuck them all in here. And the nice thing about this is if they lose one, it's easy and cheap to replenish.
Replaceable, yeah.
Because, you know, boys, they always lose everything. It's only a set when it arrives.
Exactly. No, yeah. It's, in fact, that's the last time you're going to see it complete.
Exactly.
And this is for the doggy in the family.
Yeah, first of all, we've got a little survival kit as well for the boys. You can just grab anything at home, like a bottle of water, a light. They all like going out camping and climbing rocks.
Or go to scouts.
Exactly.
Like
So anything that he might need, except for the flares. I'm sure we'll see that. A bit of rope, and then obviously just something to keep warm if they want to sleep. And then this is also just the old belt. So we took an old cushion, and we just put all the goodies in here.
Yeah.
To make a nice backpack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
This was just the old bracelet as well. So you put that in there. And I'm sure he can stay away for about a month. Then moving,
I'd like to try that.
Yeah. But anyway, at least you know he's going to be okay.
Yes,
So,
of course.
moving on, there's always few dogs are like kids at home, obviously, or they are the kid.
Exactly.
So it's nice just thinking about them as well. What we've done here for Maya, which is my little dog, we took just a normal clear Perspex bobble, and then we filled it with treats. You can maybe fill that for us.
So while everyone's opening their presents, the dog can chew on its gifts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of treats, huh?
Yeah, that's actually, it's medium. It's okay.
Really?
Yeah. And
My
then you
dog
can just,
gets like one of those a day.
Wow. So you can just take a permanent marker and just write yum or doggy treats or something. And then that's quite a nice idea and something to keep as well. We took Maya's foot. We've got an ink pad on that side. And we made a little paw print. Is
that what
which
that
you can,
is?
Yeah, which you can actually
Gorgeous.
put up at home. So she's left her mark there.
Yes.
And then if you have real Sunday roasts, you can take the real ones. If not, these are easy to find. They were laying around. And these ropes we're just going to use for some sticks that you can fetch. So you chuck it in there.
Wow, there you have it, a gift for every member of the family.
Yeah, and then this was just from an old magazine, so you can maybe just stick it on there, so everybody knows it's not theirs, but
It's not
Maya's.
theirs, but Maya's.
So that goes in there. And yeah, then we take everything, you can put it in a brown, just in a brown bag. Or if you want to add some more treats, you can do that as well. And there's a little bow tie. That was a bow tie that we used
for
once.
Maya to wear.
Yeah. So
on Christmas Day, special
exactly,
events.
to fit in with the theme. Yeah. And you can just tie, if you've got one, maybe an old one whilst you were still younger, you can just reuse it and just tie it around the gift.
Yeah, there's a bit of bling there, hey?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And then you can also use the bow tie on that, which is quite a nice idea.
Wow, this is all so awesome. Thank you so much, Carlo, for these great ideas.
Awesome.
Back to Danilo in the kitchen for the second part of that mulled berry tart.
Oh man, those are some really, really cool ideas. And I think Christmas season ends up making everybody panic. I know it's my panic stations. What am I going to do to make sure that my gift looks thoughtful? And one of the things I realized, Claire, is that what we can do during the Christmas period is try and make something for somebody else, like we did with the DIY. But we can also make something in the kitchen, invite somebody over for dinner, the family, and make them a cool meal. That's a nice Christmas gift. I think it's thoughtful. So we've kind of got halfway through our recipe so far. We've made the pastry ourselves. You've laid it in the tray. You've set your other pastry. You've cut the little stars out of it. Now we need to make the filling.
Exactly. So we've got a nice hot pan. I was just checking that it's getting warm, and we're going to make our filling. Firstly, with some apple juice and some sugar.
Okay, just remind us again what that filling is called. It's a mulled
berry. So
okay.
the mulled part is the beautiful spices, and then our fantastic summer berries from Woolworths.
Okay, cool.
So let's just give this a little bit of a stir to help it and crank up the heat to get this to dissolve. And then we're going to add in our spices and
that
berries.
Apple juice smells amazing already.
So spice of choice for this is cinnamon and nutmeg. You can add what you want, but I find cinnamon probably the most authentic to Christmas. So the sugar looks like it's pretty much dissolved there. So there's a nice base to our filling, the apple juice sweetness, sugar, yummy sweetness.
And obviously the sugar itself will dissolve and help it make it that like nice and syrupy.
Exactly. So we're going to cook it down a bit. Go for it. So 1 teaspoon of...
That's half a teaspoon, another one.
Yeah, another one of those.
Cool, and that's that.
Give it a good mix.
Cinnamon.
And then just a pinch of nutmeg.
Okay.
It's quite a potent
I'm going to screw this off.
spice.
Say when.
That's fabulous. And now we can add our berries. We're going to add half our berries and then later add the other half.
Cool.
So it's going to cook down quite a lot. So the berries are going to disintegrate and kind of break up. So you want to save some of those for later so that they can kind of keep their shape and look. I mean, they look so pretty. So
You want different textures within the actual mulled berries itself. You want it to be that sort of crystallized, the real reduced sort of berry juicy stuff, and then also like 1 or 2 little bits in there too.
So to thicken it up, let's just let that kind of
settle
a little bit, and it's going to come up to a slight boil. Turn it down and let it simmer and bubble and do its thing.
Okay.
Then we're going to add our corn flour mix. This is what's going to thicken it up. So it's just going to be corn flour water. Slurry is what it's called. Mix that up, because if you pop the corn flour straight into there, it's just going to clump and lump.
Well, I don't have water for you, so we get you some water.
We're going to do that later. So that has to cook down and, sort of reduce quite a bit before you add your corn flour mix. Mix it up, finish off with the rest of the berries, and then you can swap those two over, and that's what it looks like. Delicious.
Okay, so basically once you've done all of those things together, thrown in your corn flour and your water, etc., it comes out looking like this.
The rest of the berries, and it comes out beautiful.
Delicious.
And
It's like a
thick
jam.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. It's a jam.
Let's see if I can turn this off now, right?
Yes, and then that is our filling. So what you're going to do here, do you want to hold the pan and I'll sort of scrape it in?
Make sure I do the least amount, because I'm terrible at this stuff.
Okay, I'll guide you. And then that goes in here, so just evenly distribute it amongst the pastry shell here. And then that's going to go into the oven at 180 degrees for about 35 minutes, just until it sort of all cooks in and really comes together as the tart. And then we top it with our little stars later.
Delish! And don't forget, this recipe and shopping list is on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. You can make it this festive season with the entire family. It's a great gift to take with you to all those Christmas functions that you're going to be heading off to. Now, after the break, we're going to be putting the finishing touches on this delicious tart, as well as we take a look at some great ideas for spending time with your kids over the holiday season. Don't go anywhere.
Express yourself.
Give kids the gift of hearing this Christmas.
Clap along, give you
Are you with us?
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. So the Tart and I and Claire are basically ready to take this dish to the table and serve it for everybody to eat and enjoy. And what we're going to do is basically just decorate it now. Good one, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay.
I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
Okay, now for the cherry on top, which is not exactly a cherry. It's
No
a
cherries.
beautiful star-studded topping.
Okay.
Did you get that
Stars
one?
and eyes. I don't get it. No. It wasn't really much of a joke, but
It
star-studded.
wasn't a joke, it was just a cool thing. No? Lost it?
Then I don't get it. Okay, let's move on very swiftly. So we've kind of baked these in the oven for how long again? You put them in for 180
These were in for
degrees?
15 minutes.
Okay, so they've just kind of now crisp, become little like shortbreadies.
Little cookies, effectively.
Little cookies.
So
Okay.
just kind of place it on all over. And then we're going to drizzle it, or sprinkle it with some icing sugar.
I'll
and
start
some...
this end and then
yes,
do the
you
berries
can.
last. Or berries first, second, last?
No, berries last.
Okay. This I
Pop
can
those
do.
on. Should we
This
do
is
a
something I
little bit
learned
more?
from Claire.
So, I mean, you're looking for this as your tart topping. So let's go for one more on there. Look
Cool.
how cool that looks. And then just
Oh, my
sprinkle
word,
over
this
some
looks
fresh
delicious.
berries just to kind of complement that yummy filling.
Yes. And obviously we've got the all those berries that have cooked down on the inside. So these will be slightly more fresh and
Fresh
fruity.
and plump
Yummy,
and
yummy,
delicious. Let's aim for the full.
That
plate.
looks amazing.
Ta-da.
Claire, high five. You
Yay.
nailed it. Thank you for this dish. It looks
Pleasure.
incredible. On to the next dish on Afternoon Express. Right, I'm going to go serve these. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the beautiful tart. Oh, it looks amazing. I would like to cut it for you guys, but I think I'm a little bit too fast. So if you guys want to dish up and enjoy.
Okay, I'm going to nip one of these stars.
And I'm learning a lot
Lots
from
of
all of
cheese
you.
you were cooking up
I
in the
know,
kitchen
hey?
with Claire.
Claire and I love cheese. It
So
seems to
cheesy.
be. It's all about cheeses in there. That's what it's about. All right, ladies and gents, I've really enjoyed the chat that you guys have been having because obviously I'm growing up towards being a parent and I think everyone's very scared of becoming a parent because it's so expensive and having kids during the holiday season, they want to go out and they want to have fun and there's so many things that you can do, but all of them cost money.
Yeah. And not only is it expensive, but you actually have to be perfect to be a parent. Sorry, you're not ready.
God's waiting for me. God's waiting to make me perfect. But there are some things that you can do this festive season that we'd love to share of that are cheap and free. Do you guys have any ideas of things that you get up to?
No, my children are older now, so they do their own thing.
That's free.
They do, and they get their own money. So, yeah, they're independent now.
But when they were young, what were kind of things that you guys used to do?
Well, I used to take them to the Toys R Us, and I used to let them play with all the toys. And then we used to say, okay, say goodbye to all the toys now. And they used to hug it, and we used to goodbye, and we used to go home.
Oh, cute. This is true.
This is true.
That's really cool. I'm going to steal that one.
We live in a beautiful city
Yeah.
and very close to the mountain. If you go up to a park, it doesn't cost you a cent, it will cost you some time and energy and some effort.
Yeah.
And you can go for a walk there. Just make sure if you want to go deep into the mountain that you have a permit and somebody knows that you are walking and that you do take water with because it can become quite a big hazard if you're stuck in the middle of the mountain and you didn't take water, but that's for free. And then all these beautiful parks around us. I mean, it's amazing to live in the city. There are so many things you could do for free.
Yeah. Cape Townians are very lucky in that sense. I mean, there's also your full moon hikes and things like that, up Lion's Head and
Lion's
things,
Head.
which I think is one really cool thing to do. I know in Joburg, the Goodman Gallery is free to go and check out. There's some really cool
The
pieces in there.
museums, let's not forget.
Yeah.
I mean, with this beautiful history museum, at 12 o'clock on a Saturday, you can take your kids to the planetarium. It costs you, I think, all of 15 rand.
Oh, rocking.
And speaking of hikes, at what age is a good starting hike age?
We started doing it at the age of 4. But then we would, with regards
And
to
how much can they
Lion's
take
Head,
at that age?
30 minutes max.
Yeah.
Then you've got to sit, and it's a slow walk. We'd go up Lion's Head to the first chain, look at all the beautiful scenery, and slowly walk back down. That's a 2-hour hike, but that's like a really slow. I mean, it takes you 15 minutes to run up there.
15 minutes? Oh, wow.
They carry themselves,
Oh, they
yeah.
carry themselves.
They carry
Bonnie and I don't
themselves.
quite know what you mean by run up there. I think
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by run
mean
up
by that?
I used to have a 6-pack.
In Durban, there are also some really cool hikes that you guys can do that you can go and check out. I mean, things like Ushaka Marine World is a really nice place to go to. In Umhlanga, there's some really nice walks along on
Don't
the
have
promenade there.
beautiful botanical garden as well.
Yes, they do. So I think most of the provinces have got a beautiful botanical garden, but Durban's one particularly is absolutely amazing, and it's free. And I think kids have lots of opportunities to play there with their own stuff.
Yes.
There and with each other.
And also in Cape Town, you can go on the promenade. There's lots of swings and lots of art to see as well. And there's also galleries and
And beaches. I mean,
in
we haven't
Durban
got
and
near the
Cape
beaches
Town.
yet.
Clifton,
That's
it's
for free.
family beach. That's lovely.
The
Fourth
beach is the
Clifton,
best. Take the
yeah.
dog down to the beach and just camp out all day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell me what we're up to tomorrow. I'm going to cut this up. Why don't I?
Yes, I'm in.
Everyone's started.
Starts in.
So make sure you join us again tomorrow for Afternoon Express and tune in early because during the first 15 minutes of the show, we're chatting to the amazing Ntogo Zombambo about her remarkable weight loss. And in the kitchen, we're making a refreshing berry punch.
Well, I'm going to not make a berry punch. I'm going to make a berry crunch. But thanks so much to all of our guests that joined us in the loft today. Really cool to have all of you.
Yes, thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
And to you at home, thank you so much for joining us. Happy eating. Good night.
Another feel-good production.
Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for watching the show. Be sure to not miss another episode by clicking subscribe right over there. And we'll see you every day. Afternoon Express. Enjoy.